Hey everybody, welcome back to the Harmonious Path with Jen. So I know it's been a minute and this is going to be kind of just a rambling update, and I'm going to get a little personal, not like super in-depth, but a little personal on some shadow work I've been doing and some self-love, self-worth work that that I'm just starting. We're going to be starting. It's been a couple of months. So first off, I apologize the kind of blah background and shitty lighting. I had to move my computer down into my living room, which I will talk about in a little bit later in the video. So I'm kind of just making do with what I've got set up down here. I don't have all my lights and everything, but that's all right. So anyway, let's just I'll just kind of start with an update on what's been going on and things that have been on my mind and just where have I been and what's been going on. So the year has been kind of a shit show almost from the start. And overall it's good. I'm good, but there's been a lot of really, really challenging things that have come to light that I've realized and have to work on and work through and come to terms with. So let's just stop rambling and start the official rambling. So we all know how January started here in the United States with, the stuff at the Capitol. Don't really want to go into, we've all hashed that to death a million times, but I realized throughout this year that I'm a lot more sensitive to wider, bigger world occurrences than I used to be. And my first hint of that was the Capitol riots, that it really impacted me in a way that I really did not expect. And it seems, the only way I can really describe it is that deep down, I do love my country, and I am kind of a patriot at heart, because I kind of felt the same way after 9/11 of, I'm not a terribly, I have my views, but I'm not a terribly politically person. I'm probably not ever going to talk about politics here. It's something that I just try to keep. It gets ugly depending on who you're talking with. But I'm not very overtly yeah, America and all that stuff. But that just was seeing people carrying a Confederate flag through the halls of the Capitol building. Yes, it's just a building, but that building has really, really deep meaning. It has deep symbolism. And that just, the whole thing, but that's just one example of that just kind of kicked me in the gut. I was like, oh my God, this is, that took me a little while to kind of work through and realize that, okay, I do feel different things that I didn't realize that I felt. So I kind of, worked through that, and then February came, and another thing that I did not expect to give any flying figs at all. The GameStop fiasco with the stock market. I work in finance on the IT side, and I don't really, yes, I work in finance, but I don't really care about the stock market, so to say. Personally, it's not something that I'm really interested in. I don't do my own stock trading. I'm just not interested. As long as I've worked in finance, I'm not interested in that side of the world. But that, some of the things that started coming out after that whole thing happened made me realize that Wall Street is even more corrupt than a lot of people realize. I know Wall Street is, corrupt to the core, but it just kind of went even further than I realized. And that kind of kicked me down for a couple of days. It wasn't a huge thing, but it did kick me down a little bit. And then I had a little bit of personal stuff. And I also had a realization about somebody very close in my life of how this person views things and views the world. And this is somebody that is very, very dear to me. And I know that we have very, very polarizing views on various topics, but a comment was made that kind of helped me to understand why this person holds some of the views that they do. And that was just another kick to the gut, like, oh my gosh, this person that I have just held in the highest esteem for a long, long time has some of these really narrow-minded, ignorant views. And I mean ignorant as in, the actual definition of ignorant as in uninformed, uneducated, however you want to look at it. And that doesn't mean I respect this person any less. It explained a lot, and it made a lot of things really click it was like, how on earth can this person say that or think that or whatever? And it kind of just really, like I said, it really made things click. And so that was a little, kind of a paradigm shift. And then we get to March. March is where everything kind of just completely shit the bed. I experienced a very, very deep betrayal by someone that I love. And I'm not going to go into any details, but it wasn't a punch in the gut, or it was like somebody hamstringed me, or did the Achilles tendon thing. I don't know. It's hard to talk about without going into detail, but it was really, really deep and really, really really affected me and really just knocked me down, because through all the other stuff I was still moving through life, working on making videos here and working on my coaching business and doing all the things. It was just a little extra shadow work during my free time. But this one just that's when I stopped posting videos. It was ugly, and it led to some really, really, really deep, ongoing, intense, painful shadow work. And I want to talk more about that, the shadow work aspect of it, but I'll get to that in a minute. I want to kind of just get through this rambling personal update part before I get into a little bit of the meatier, talking about shadow work and self-love. So, I'm working through that. Like, March was just entirely, almost entirely spent on shadow work and recovering from shadow work sessions and back and forth and, doing the self-care and everything. But that self-care also meant not pressuring myself to make videos when I just did not have the energy, did not have the emotional or mental bandwidth to do anything more than what I was doing. And then April rolled around, where we are now, and Tiberius has kind of been going downhill a little bit. His back legs are not doing well. He's a 75-pound dog, and he's 14 years old. So it's common for larger dogs to have hip problems. It's just an old age thing, but his back legs are getting really weak, and he's really struggling to get up stairs, and his legs just kind of give out sometimes when he's walking. And then I also found a lump on kind of this area of his head, neck, and it turned it's his lymph node that's swollen. So, I took him to the vet, and we tried antibiotics to see if it was an infection, and it actually got bigger. So it's not an infection. And the vet said that the next thing we could do would be to sedate him and aspirate it and kind of, get a better idea of what's going on. Like, is it a cyst? What's in there? What's going on? But at this point, he's been through so much. He's been through chemo twice. He's had a lot of surgeries. He's 14. I don't want to put him through any more surgery. So it doesn't really matter what's going on, because if we sedated him to aspirate, it would purely be for knowledge. I'm not going to put him through another surgery at this point. I'm just not. So, and I don't want to put him under. He's never had any issues with sedatives and anesthesia, but there's just something that I really, really don't want to put him under. So I'm not going to. I'm going to listen to that feeling and not do it and just keep him happy and comfortable until the time comes. He's still doing really well. The lump has actually shrank a little bit, I think. I noticed today it seemed a little bit smaller. And he's eating, he's happy, he's acting normal. That lump doesn't seem to bother him. The only, bother is his legs that makes it hard for him to get around. So that takes me to why I am down here in my living room now. I have a 3-level townhome. So, the basement is kind of basement and storage, and then the main floor is my living room and my kitchen, and then upstairs is my office and the bedroom. And he would lose his footing. He would fall down the stairs if he was trying to go up. Sometimes his back legs would give out and he'd kind of just slide down the stair, and I was really worried. So it got to the point where I absolutely would not let him go up and down the stairs by himself, but it was still a worry. And so I decided I'm just going to move my computer down to my living room. So that way we only have to go upstairs maybe once or twice a day, at night to go to bed. And then, if I need to go up for a little bit for whatever reason. But mostly we can stay down here so he doesn't have to worry about the stairs. So, looking at I've got a little list of notes of things. So moving my computer down here really, really set me off kilter for a good solid week, which was also a shock. But then I thought about it and it's it's pandemic. I've been working from home. I've barely left the house as many of us for the past year plus. I've basically lived in my office. I come downstairs to the kitchen for meals, and I sleep in the bedroom. I don't use my living room all that often, to be honest. I basically have been living in my office, so I was in this totally new environment, so to speak. And it took some adjusting, but I think I'm finally about adjusted and feeling okay with the setup. I'm kind of just looking around. I had an L-shaped desk before. Now I've just got a long folding table, but I've got everything that I need, and we're getting it. Tiberius is down there laying by me, and we're doing pretty good. So I'm kind of starting to come out of the complete cocoon and starting to just kind of reemerge into life. So let's talk a little bit about shadow work. The first thing that I really started working on that is kind of ongoing, I don't want to say I'm done with this piece of it, but it feels fairly, I feel like I'm in a much better place than I was, a month and a half, 2 months ago, I guess. And that was working through patterns that I have repeated in relationships over and over my entire adult life. Now, I kind of like to call myself a serial monogamist. I've actually only had 4 relationships my adult life. They're all kind of long term, but there were patterns in most of them. And the first time I didn't learn, I did not learn my lesson. I thought I had, but I really, really hadn't. And the second time, I definitely did not learn my lesson. And then the third time, the universe was just slap me in the face, and you're going to learn this. You are going to flipping learn this lesson right now if it flipping kills you. Figuratively speaking, there was nothing like that going on. But I mean, like I said, it totally just took my legs out from under me, brought me to my knees. And I think there's definitely still work to do, but I have realized and seen those patterns. And I wanted to share some of what I did to work through some of that. Because when I started doing shadow work, I get caught up in, am I doing things right? And it's like, well, what is shadow work? Am I doing it right? What do you do? How do you do it? And I was getting way too caught up in that rather than just doing what I knew I needed to do and not trying to label it. Like, just do the work. Who cares what it is? Who cares if it's shadow work or not? It's work that I need to do. So really, really challenging part of it was I went through and took time and read through almost all of my old journals. Now, I have a stack, like a huge stack over the years, and I read through most of them. And as I was reading through them, I had my current journal next to me, and I was writing, taking notes on things that jumped out at me, things that I wrote and said and did, and ways that I acted and things that I believed, and anything that struck me as just, wow, that is so toxic and so unhelpful and so harmful. I wrote it down so that I could just have everything on a couple of pages. There was a lot of it. A lot. That was really hard. It was really hard. And I'll just be really honest. Like, there was part of me that wanted to look at my past self and go, oh my God, that's so pathetic. But I'm trying really, really hard not to call myself pathetic, because I was doing the best that I could with what I had. And we've got to have our moments and just get through it, and so that we can learn these lessons. So that was really, really hard, but really eye-opening and really, really necessary. And I started kind of looking at why I have some of these patterns. And like I keep saying, there's more work. There's always more work to do. But I've, come a long way, and I feel a lot more stable with these than I had, and a lot more prepared to kind of take on similar challenges should I encounter them in the future in a much more healthy and loving and productive way. And then this led to some self-love and self-worth. So I've talked a lot this year about trying to get healthy and wanting to really love myself and love my body and be healthy and start exercising and eating nourishing foods and getting consistent sleep. And I've done, the past couple years, I've done really, really well at working on my mental health and my emotional health and my spiritual health. And I'm pretty good at taking care, I'm getting pretty good at taking care of myself in that way. Certainly a lot better than I ever used to be. But when it comes to my physical health, it doesn't really matter. Like what I do, I can't get past this block of whatever is preventing me from caring about myself enough to actually take care of my body. And so I've been working on that a little bit. And that's going to go a lot deeper here soon. So I finally, I did a tarot reading for myself and got a lot of good stuff out of it. And then I decided that I was going to get a professional tarot reading around this topic. So I got a tarot self-care profile reading from Lisa Papez. Lisa, I am so sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. I feel like I should know that, but I think Lisa Papez. Over, Supportive Tarot with Lisa, or I think her channel is just Lisa Papez now. Really good. If you're looking for a professional tarot reading, I cannot recommend her highly enough. It was just her style is so warm and loving, and also, doesn't pull any punches at the same time. And it all just resonated so deeply, and pieces started falling together. And then, so something that what I'm realizing about why do I struggle to take care of my physical health is, if I feel, I have this belief in my head that, well, who cares? It doesn't matter. My family's, I'm talking about my adoptive family now. My adoptive family is pretty small. I'm really, really close with my parents, but I'm not really close with most of my extended family. And I am kind of a loner. So I don't have a lot of close friends. And I realized that I had this belief of, well, why does it matter? Like, why does it matter if I don't take care of my health and I die when I'm 60 or whatever? My parents will be gone by then. Well, I mean, maybe. I don't know. I'm not... They're healthy. But, just kind of being realistic, they're not going to be around forever. And, who else cares? Yeah, there are a couple friends who would care, but why does it really matter? And I've realized that, that's just, that's not a healthy way of thinking anyway, because I should want to, logically, I want to do it for myself, but inside, I should want to be healthy for the sake of myself and my own life enjoyment. But I've, got it tied to, well, who cares? There's not that many people in my life. What does it matter? So not only is that really unhealthy in and of itself, it's also not true anymore. Since I developed that belief, I've found my biological family, and that family is huge. And while I'm, absolutely not close with all of them, there are some of them that I am pretty close with or getting close with. And I just know that the story and the history, there's a lot of weight in these relationships. And, these people really, really do care. And, my sister and my bio mama and my brother. And, I don't talk about my half brother that often, because we're definitely, there's an age gap. He's about 21 years younger than me. But I know, I love him, and I know he we're just in different parts of our lives, but we love each other. I know that. And it's wow, there are so many people who would care if I die young, or have some horrible health problem or whatever. So, that's not even a valid belief anymore. So that's definitely something I need to, work hard on. And really, why do? Just learning to love myself. It's... I talk about self-love a lot, and it is a really important thing to me, but I've just realized that the block that I have, or the resistance, or the, laziness, there's really something a lot deeper that I need to work through, that I didn't realize how deep it was. And there's a lot more that came from the tarot reading and my own reflections thus far, but like I said, I'm going to get a little personal, but I'm not going to get super detailed personal. So that's kind of where I've been. It's definitely been a ride. It has, it's been a challenging year, but things are looking up. I mean that, these are all good things, things that I need to work through. And I feel like, I'm going to be turning 42 in a couple of weeks, and 40 was a big year. 40 was the year that I found my biofam, and a lot of things happened that year. But I feel like with some of the changes that have happened, I feel like I'm walking into a new phase of my life, a whole new, I'm leaving my baggage behind, and I'm you know, getting on that plane to who knows where to be overly dramatic about it, but it kind of does feel that way. Like, once I get through this, you know, figure out how to love myself, and, you know, I've got, you know, and then also just from the practical matter of I've gotten the vaccine. I got my second dose last Sunday, and, you know, while I'm not going to be going out and whooping it up all over the world, I'm going to be a little more comfortable going out some places. Like, I might go out to a bar and, you know, might even sit inside. I don't know. Depends on how many people are there. You know, and even just going to a store and not having to worry about, am I going to get this virus, and is this going to, you know, am I going to get sick? And I know it's not 100%, and I'm just rambling here, but I really feel like there's this door, and like I've opened it, and I'm kind of peering around, and I'm looking at what's on the other side. And I'm just really excited to see like what the rest of this year is going to bring. You know, I'm repeating myself, but it really feels like a new phase, a new chapter, maybe even a whole new sequel. You know, a whole new book, like Lord of the Rings. You've got, like, yeah, it's one book, but it's divided in 3 books. So maybe this is my Two Towers part of my life. Wait, that does not sound promising. You know what I mean. Anyway, I am going to stop babbling at you now, and I think that kind of says what I wanted to say. Just update, you know, share a little more about what shadow work can look like. It's also been doing a lot of rituals and a lot of reflection, you know, reading old journals, doing the journaling, doing tarot readings for myself, getting tarot readings, journaling, rituals, reflection. So, and I also want to thank everybody who has reached out and said, I miss your videos. I hope you're doing well. That really, really means so much. You know, still being a relatively new, smaller channel, sometimes it just feels like, does anybody even watch these videos? And, you know I get comments, I get likes, I know that you all watch these, but sometimes it just thank you. That really, really meant a lot, and kind of helped give me the kick to stop saying I need to film a video and actually film a video. So thank you to all of you who reached out. I think that's about it for me for now. So I will stop babbling now for real, and until next time, which hopefully I do plan on it being much, much sooner than last time. I've got a couple videos actually outlined out that I hope to be working on this weekend. So until next time, be kind to yourself and those around you, and let your light shine for all the world to see. Bye.